Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chosen Baseball Journey podcast with former MLB slugger Karim Garcia, Jonathan A. Hacohen. Karim, we are on chapter 117. Man, when Steve Carsey and I talked about the idea of a podcast so many moons ago, and here you and I are sitting, I am in Ontario, Canada, you're over in Texas. He's wherever the Angels are playing right now, back in the MLB as their bullpen coach. Life really changes. You never know day to day, huh?
In a heartbeat. You never know. One day you can be in Anaheim, the next day you can be in Seattle, you can be in New York. Happened to me, happened to him. So you wake up, you never know exactly where we're going to be. You can be in Toronto.
Well, in today's chapter, chapter 117, I called it Trevor Bauer Does It Again. But it's funny, 1 minute you are one of the top pitchers in baseball. You sign a monster deal with the Dodgers. A whole bunch of legal stuff come and go. You get cleared with your name. You end up in Japan. Now you're in Mexico. You're the most dominant pitcher in Mexico. Trevor Bauer is really living his base. I won't say his chosen baseball journey, but certainly a baseball journey, is it not?
Yes, he is. As a matter of fact, like you mentioned, he went to Japan, proved himself in Japan. He was not only worthy, he was above the pitchers over there, posting a 2.5 ERA, 130 strikeouts over 131 innings, having a great year over there, MVP in the month of June, come to Mexico, and he definitely lit it up. You know, he's breaking records left and right as we go. He started with the 9 strikeouts in a row back in April, I want to say, or the beginning of May. And now his last outing was just, I will call it stupid, that how great he was. 127 pitches, 19 strikeouts, 8.2 innings. I really don't know why they don't let him pitch the last batter to get the 20 strikeouts. I mean, it would have been great. I mean, you already got 127 pitches, might as well finish with 135. It doesn't matter.
Do you recall the game? I think it was 19 strikeouts, but I'd have to look it up. It's been a while. So I was on my grade 8 field trip. We were in Washington, D.C., as a lot of field trips tend to do in North America when you're in the Eastern Coast. And there was a baseball game on TV. There was a man by the name of Ramon Martinez, Pedro's brother, the good
Yes.
Martinez brother. Pedro was the lanky sidekick brother, but Ramon was the real prospect, if you recall back in the day, right? And
Yes.
Ramon pitched quite a game that day in Dodger Stadium. Okay, I remember it was 19 strikeouts, 21 strikeouts. I'd have to look at it, but man, he put on a clinic, and I happened to be watching that game. Ramon was a sight to see. I don't care if you're pitching in the AL, NL, Mexican League, Penal League. 19 strikeouts is damn impressive.
It's unbelievable what this guy is doing. He's way over the league. You know what I'm saying? He is nothing to prove in Japan, Mexico, where any other league besides MLB. And he already proved himself in MLB. All he needs is a shot. Give him a shot. It's a lot of teams out there, they need pitching. Dodgers is one of them, but they're not going to pick him up. Yankees is another one of them. Who knows? You go and go down you can see maybe Phillies, Mets. I mean, even Boston, they're right there. Baltimore. I mean, I can go through 15 out of the 30 teams, and they need him.
So, would you like a good laugh, Kareem?
Sure.
So, the big excuse why they don't sign Trevor Bauer is because they're saying we don't really want him because he's going to be too much of a distraction. Well, I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Do you know what's a bigger distraction than Trevor Bauer?
Well,
Losing. How about losing? And every day I email you the next person with the elbow inflammation, right? Jordan Romano, um, Cody
Patrick
Senga's on the
Sandoval.
recovery, Bradish, right?
Yeah.
You Darvish, by the way, they just said as of today's taping that he's feeling better, but now he has elbow inflammation. Uh-oh. You know what, Trevor Bauer? He might have many things. You know what he does not have right now, as far as I know? Elbow inflammation. And when a guy
Exactly.
comes in with no elbow inflammation and is striking out the world, you sent me that one clip. I was going to send it to you this morning. I should have. But the one where he's clipped and they're taping him talking to himself as he's striking out was Voight, right?
Luke
Was
Boyd.
it? Luke
Luke
Voigt,
Boyd.
right.
Yes.
I keep mixing up Steve Voigt and Luke Voigt, but Luke Voigt, right? The power hitting first baseman. And man, he made him look stupid. He made him look like a 5-year-old out there. And Luke Voigt, go look at his numbers. The man knows how to hit MLB pitching and he knows how to hit fastballs. Bauer threw him whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, and he could not even touch the guy. So, Kareem, I just had a brainwave. I know partially now why in my head why Bauer is not that upset. Do you want to know why?
He's having fun.
That's one reason. Yeah, absolutely, he's having fun. And him and his agent friend, are out there and they're promoting, and there looks like a good time in Mexico. But number one, you hand this man a podcast and you give him his own reality show. Pretty sure people are going to watch it if you look at the numbers he's getting on social media. But also, when you sell the rights to his life story and you bring on Brad Pitt to whoever's going to play him in the Trevor Bauer movie, Bauer's going to do okay off that.
No, absolutely. It's not like he's hurting right now, but he's gonna do even better. I just wanted to get a shot because, like I said, this guy with Luke Boyd, he threw him two sliders back to back, make him look silly, and then he goes to him just like fastball. He throws him a fastball right down the middle. Of course, 98, but he throws a fastball right down the middle of 98, and Luke Boyd just took it like a champ, and then went to the dugout, struck out again. I think he struck him out 3 times a day.
Well, when I went on MLB.com and I looked for the record of the 19 strikeouts and what Bauer is doing in Mexico, I'm not seeing the news on MLB.com. Apparently, it doesn't exist. Like, as far as I know, MLB is not in North Korea. As far as I know, it's not Cuba. So you think that they have the freedom of speech to express what's going on in the world of baseball. There's that ugly word again. I was reading a little bit about Bauer's comments about he may not have a choice but to look at his legal options. Kareem, we talked about the term back in the day when the MLB owners decided not to sign free agents. It was called collusion. Collusion.
Yes.
And when a guy is cleared of legal troubles, they're saying, well, I don't really like him as a person. Well, you gotta like 19 strikeouts to sign him at the league minimum. I'm telling you, if MLB.com is not broadcasting the results and the fact that he is not getting a contract or a sniff of it, if Trevor Bauer takes MLB and all the teams to court and saying, I think there's collusion here, as a lawyer not practicing litigation, I got to tell you, I still think he's got a pretty good shot.
He does have a pretty good shot. I mean, everybody knows that this guy is not in the major leagues because supposedly the legal problems that he had before, but they clear him. He is clear. He has nothing to prove anyone. Legally, he is completely clear. So he should be in the major leagues right now, not only with the minimum, paying what he deserves to get paid because he put up the numbers before to do that. Nowadays, like he said, he wants the shot. I understand. Pay the minimum, get back to the major leagues, and then go from there. But I wish and I hope that this guy does get an opportunity to get back over there because I know that he will do great.
Kareem, at his age, let's say, I think he's about 33 now, if I'm not mistaken. And with his experience, what he did in Japan last year, what he's doing in Mexico, people say, oh, he's in Mexico, he's washed up, he hasn't played MLB ball in so long. What he's throwing right now, and you watch him on social media as he explains his mechanic. I mean, this guy has forgotten more about pitching than we'll ever know. I mean, this guy is a genius when it comes to pitching, and you listen to his analysis. You put him on the open market character. I say that loosely aside. I mean, again, his main accuser is up for perjury charges herself for fraud against him and another person she accused. So Bauer on the open market right now, 25 million in his sleep. I mean, how much is Carlos Rondon making right now? If you give me the opportunity right now, same money to put Bauer or Rodon in the rotation. Sorry, Carlos Rodon. I'm taking Trevor Bauer right now.
No, sure. I sent a Rondon to Mexico, and I pick up Bauer and put him on the Yankees right now. And believe me, Rondon is doing all right to last a start, but it's not gonna be never a Trevor Bauer. And Bauer can be in the big stage, and he can perform in the big stage. He was in LA, and some people cannot play in the big cities, like New York or LA, Boston. Those cities, it take a special character or person to actually perform over there and do great things.
Name me any division in baseball.
Okay, the West Coast,
Okay, AL West or NL West?
NL.
NL West. Okay. Dodgers. Yamamoto not doing so great right now. He may be back at some point after the All-Star break, right?
Huh?
Okay, Glasnow has been pitching well. Checkered history at best, injury-wise. Everything
Yeah,
else aside, he would Bauer right now slots easily number 2 in the rotation.
very easily.
Okay. You got the Dodge.
Usually, he's
Okay.
not even doing great.
But Glasnow's doing pretty good. I mean, listen, Glasnow has been steady at the beginning. I mean, he's had his up and downs, but mostly he's been pretty steady. But I would say easily with Yamamoto out, number 2, you got the Padres, right? They're sniffing around Crochet, but they have Dylan Cease and Darvish being out now, potential elbow inflammation. I would say at least on par with Cease from the
Yeah,
Padres point of view, right?
absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, he can put him if you don't have Darvish over there, you can put him in. I don't know, number 1, number 2. That will definitely be your ace or your second pitcher over there.
But easily number 1, number 2, let's say, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Rockies goes without saying. You
Ace.
could be their ace. I could be their ace right now. This cup of water can be their ace. Okay, so we know from the Rockies story. Diamondbacks. Have you noticed something interesting about the Diamondbacks? Almost the
He
whole
was with the
rotation.
Diamondbacks before.
What's that?
He was with the Diamondbacks before.
Yes, but have you looked at their rotation currently?
No, I haven't. I mean, I know they got Montgomery, the lefty, and he's doing okay. And a couple other guys that I've seen over there, but I haven't put really attention into their rotation because,
They're all injured. Almost
yeah,
the whole rotation is out. So Diamondbacks
damn,
went to the World Series last year, have at
yeah,
least 3 of their starting pitchers out. Not sure when they're coming back. There's another ace right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just talking about one division only. That's the
Yeah.
West
And then you start going
on
to
the
everywhere
National
else.
League.
My point is, if we start going across MLB baseball, I think we're seeing here he's either a number 1 or number 2 for most teams, the way he's pitching. And you take him at the league minimum, that's a no-brainer. 2 guys who have come out on this, which is quite interesting. Very, very diverse personalities, let's say. Would you say Mookie Betts and David Wells are as different as you can get in the world of baseball and life?
Absolutely. 100%.
Mookie Betts, probably one of the nicest guys currently in the MLB. A guy that's very highly considered, fan friendly. He goes on all the kids programs. Everybody loves Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is the poster child, poster man for baseball. And I've never heard one person say anything bad about Mookie Betts, right?
Yep.
So
I
what does
agree.
Mookie Betts comes out and talks about Trevor Bauer? What does he call Trevor Bauer? A great guy and supports him. Hmm.
Wow.
That says a
That's
lot to
big.
me.
He does. He does because this guy that comes every day early, works out as hard as anyone, and doesn't complain. And if you put him in shortstop, left field, right field, center field, second base, whatever you put him, the guy will work. He has a great work ethic, and I'm sure everybody loves him. But I'm sure that he despises some people if they don't work hard enough. And if he says he loves Trevor Bauer, it's because he knows that he's doing something right.
Mookie Betts is a team player. Mookie Betts has great individual stats when healthy, but Mookie Betts wants to win. That's pretty clear. He'll do whatever it takes. You want to put me in the
Absolutely.
outfield? Put me in the outfield. You want to put me at second base? Put me at second base. You want to put me at shortstop? Put me at shortstop. I don't care. Bet me first, bet me third, bet me fifth, whatever. Never heard Mookie Betts complain. Never had an issue with Mookie Betts. So quite interesting that very few people have publicly come out. And I don't think it's because they don't support Trevor Bauer or they don't want to help. It's because in our culture, people are afraid to speak out because they don't want targets on them because that affects their endorsements, that affects their image. And Kareem, it's a pretty crappy thing in this day and age when you can't really give an opinion because you're afraid of where people are going to land on you. Like I think about this and I could get maybe completely bombarded on this one. But people stood behind Colin Kaepernick for a long time. Colin Kaepernick's a hero. He put a knee down when the national anthem played. If you're going to talk about hero, I think Trevor Bauer is far more of a hero than Colin Kaepernick because he had actual adversity on the field and he lost his livelihood and for something that he couldn't control and he got cleared and yet he's not back. Kaepernick was a average quarterback at best and he decided to disrespect the United States. Way different matter. But yet Kaepernick has a Nike contract. Kaepernick is a big hero, and Bauer is a scapegoat. I don't understand it. Do you?
I got no idea why is this happening. Like you mentioned, taking a knee on the national anthem is disrespectful for the people that fought for your country. They're still fighting right now to this moment. But again, he wanted to make a stand for something. He had his reasons, whatever they are. I mean, I respect the part, but I don't respect the other one, disrespecting the flag and disrespecting the people that are actually fighting, overseas. And with Bauer, he's clear of everything. He has nothing to lose, everything to gain. But like you say, people are afraid to speak because, they might be the next one. Mookie Betts can say whatever he wants because the Dodgers are not going to get rid of him. If Aaron Judge speaks, on behalf of Bauer, believe me, nothing is going to happen because you're not going to get rid of him. But the guys that are in the middle of the pack, they're a veteran, but I mean, they don't play every day. Their position is different. They won't even talk about the subject because they're afraid that the next thing that happens to them is either get traded, get released, or put on waivers.
Well, a guy who's not playing MLB baseball was never afraid of to give his opinion was David Wells, a guy that you know pretty well. You've seen David
Yeah.
Wells around, right? Former
Mm-hmm.
former Yankee teammate. So I'm going to read you a quote from David Wells. Very, very curious. I did not talk to you about this off air. I'm very curious to hear your reaction to hear what David Wells had to say because I think he spoke very eloquently on this. He said, in sports, you get targeted so much by so many bad people out there. You just got to be able to cover your tracks and try to make the right decisions. Because we're targets. Athletes are targets. I don't care, men or women, you're targets. And people are going to go out there and try to get the best of you, get a reaction, and either sue you or whatever. So when you read that and you think about Trevor Bauer, does that hit home for you? Do you see a target?
Well, yeah, he put a target on his back. I mean, unfortunately, this lady was looking for money. Nobody knew what his personal life was until this lady came out, tried to get money out of him. And unfortunately, yes, any athlete that is out there, you see all the time things that happens on the bar of the hotels that you stay on the road. It's always women waiting over there to invite you for a drink, try to get something, from you. They start with an autograph or just a light conversation and go from there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I understand a little bit what David Wells is saying about you got to cover your tracks, but I mean, if you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to cover in this case.
My friend, how many NBA players do we read about that are caught with women in their hotel rooms and all sorts of things and allegations and 15 kids with 14 women and all this jazz? You know, quite interesting stories. And you know what happens? You hear that expression, boys will be boys, and they get second chances, third chances. This is not somebody. who killed somebody. It's not somebody who assaulted somebody that got found guilty of it. This was somebody that had an incident which was consensual, not consensual, and came out cleared of it. Paused his career, paused financially on it, got cleared of it. When a person goes to jail for a crime and then they come back and say, "Oh, 10 years later, the DNA turned out we got the wrong person." You know what they do? They release them out of jail and say, "Sorry about the mistake. Sorry about the 10 years of your life. Good luck with it." And then they're in hero, right?
Yeah.
What I don't see the difference on this. This is somebody that could have easily gone to jail, did not even go to jail for it, was never convicted of anything. And in any other circumstance, people would be welcoming with open arms, open contracts. It's almost become a joke on it. And this is where I don't know if Bauer, first of all, I don't think it's going to come to it that he's going to sue MLB and the Players Association for not helping him and all the teams, because I think he'll be there in 2025, guaranteed. I'm going to tell you right now, if Trevor Bauer is not in Major League Baseball in the year 2025, this is a joke. This is collusion. I don't even know if I'm going to watch baseball next year because, Lord, what else does the guy have to do? This makes no sense to me. But I'm telling you, he's going to sell the life story. It's going to happen. He's going to have a talk show out of this, a reality show. So he's got to be laughing about it. But inside, for a guy who loves pitching so much and cares about it so much and learns every little aspect of it and is so damn good at it, I mean, he's lost some pretty prime years, sitting here losing years 30 to 33 approximately. Those are years you're never, ever, ever getting back. From just the not just the money point of view, but Kareem, speak as an athlete, as somebody with pride in the game and practice, etc. When somebody takes it away from you and it's not your choice, not easy on the psyche, is it?
Not at all, especially like you mentioned. They taken premium years out of his career, where this guy, if you let him play, he right now has 89 games in the major leagues. 5 years, if you let him play, he probably had 150, easily would have made over 200 wins. Over 200 wins of his career, maybe thinking 250, and now you're talking numbers about Hall of Fame type of numbers. We will never know because they took that away from him. And he's never going to get back. And that's part of his legacy. And this is a guy that can adapt to anything because, like I say, it takes a special character to adapt to different cultures. Because I live in Japan. He went to Japan. I went to Korea. He hasn't gone to Korea, but he's going to Mexico and he's adapting to the Mexican life. It's not easy. I mean, it's different. In Mexico, when you finish the games after, it's not a restaurant open that you can go a five-star restaurant. You're going to go eat tacos. You're going to go to a 7-Eleven. You're going to eat some sandwich, some soda, whatever it is. Whatever you can find after 11, 12 o'clock at night. Now some of the teams in Mexico are putting food after the games. Before, they never had that. Nowadays, because the new guys are coming in, guys with major experience and stuff like that, everything is becoming a little bit better in Mexico and continue to get better.
Do you remember Karim Garcia at 20 years old? Do you remember what life was like at 20 years old?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay. And you remember being once 25 and then 30?
Yes.
Karim Garcia at 33 years old compared to Karim Garcia at 20 years old. Same person?
Oh, no. Better in every aspect of the world because more experience, more settled, and a lot more intelligent, not only baseball wise,
I want
in
to use
everything.
I want to use the M word specifically, maturity, maturity. Now, you
Yes.
have the Antonio Browns of this world that can be 35 or 40 and still they act like they're 5 years old. I get that, okay? And we all know, and guess what? Antonio Brown got what, 3 chances, right?
Yeah.
And Trevor Bauer couldn't even get a second one. But I feel like the other thing is people are really ragging on Trevor Bauer, the 20-year-old, Trevor Bauer, the 25-year-old, what he was like in college, what he was like when he first came to MLB. Kareem, how much longer does he have to pay for that? I mean, everybody does things when they're young and people mature and people grow up and people make mistakes. But when you're in your 30s, I know I am, a lot different than I was in my 20s. At some and when you're mea culpa and saying, look, I was younger, I was brash. How many athletes you've been in the world of baseball in locker rooms for over 2 decades? How many 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds have you seen get drafted, walk into a locker room in baseball that think they own the place and they know everything?
Look, 1,000 of them. Every time you see a young guy, he thinks he knows everything about the baseball, the game. He's gonna change everything in baseball. He's gonna be the next superstar, and then they get in front of a wall and they cannot go through it because you can't go through a wall. You learn that everything it has time in and it's a learning process, and you have to pay your dues.
You recall the name Hensley Mullins?
I remember Bam Bam
Bam Bam, correct. They called him Bam Bam. Why did they call him Bam Bam?
because he raked.
Because he raked. Now, help my memory, Kareem, because my memory's not always so good. Is Hensley Mullins in the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Nope, not at all.
No. And funny because Hensley Mullins came up as Bam Bam, can't miss prospect, next Hall of Famer guaranteed. Didn't transpire that way, right?
Not at all. He's a hitting coach right now, but that's as much as he's done.
They did not hold it against him that he came up as a brash rookie, know-it-all, Bam Bam, the nickname, can't miss, fizzles out. And guess what? The guy matured, ended up a long career as a hitting coach across many, many teams, and actually was constantly a manager candidate. You go on social media, listen to Trevor Bauer talk about pitching. This guy could be a pitching coach in his sleep in the future, in his sleep, guaranteed. And this is where I'm thinking, you know what, as a society, maybe we got to step back and just put a little bit of perspective in this. Even people that Kareem, people that commit crimes, convicted, go to prison, come out of prison. People say they rehabilitated themselves. Let's give them a chance. For the people that were not convicted, didn't spend the time in prison, got to give them the same second chance. I just can't see past this.
Absolutely. I mean, they're giving him a treatment like Pete Rose. At least Pete Rose got caught. This guy is clear of everything and he's getting the same treatment. You know, that's kind of sad the way they're doing him, but it's the way I see it.
You're not wrong on that one. And Pete Rose was banned from baseball. And unless I got the memo, I don't recall Trevor Bauer getting banned from baseball, but it certainly seems like the Pete Rose treatment. I didn't think of it that way, but he has become as much of a pariah as Pete Rose. You don't talk about him, you don't mention him. I mean, again, as far as I know, MLB is not in North Korea. For them to hold back Bauer's information on what he's doing in Mexico, that sounds like censorship to me.
Yes, I mean, at least put him on the minor league baseball website because Mexico is not in the major leagues, but I understand. And when you have the MLB website, you have minor leagues and major leagues. You can at least see that, 19 strikeouts anywhere in the world is a fit. And he did it, and he put a record. He's putting many records in Mexico, and he's not getting any recognition in the States unless he puts it on.
David Wells had one other quote, which I, again, thought he spoke very, very well on the subject. He said, "Why would you not take a chance on the guy? If I was an owner, I saw the ability in the guy. He's not going to be a distraction to the team. He's going to go out and pitch. Why wouldn't you give him a second chance? I believe in second chances as long as they're solidified, and he was solidified." So, look, coming down to it at the end of the day, 30 teams have an obligation. No, not just want to, need to. They have an obligation to their fan base. Their fan base spends millions and billions of dollars on TV, on jerseys, on ticket sales. They have an obligation. Every single team has an obligation to send one or two representatives down to Mexico right now, sit down with Bauer, bring a psychologist, bring a priest, a rabbi, whoever you want, and give the man 10 minutes and see what the guy's about. If they actually sat down and actually gave him the time of day and listened to how well the guy has spoken, 28 teams at least are going to offer him a contract.
I mean, all 30 teams should offer him a contract because he can help anyone right now. They're not doing it because they're afraid of what the fans will say or whoever else will might be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is ludicrous. It's stupid to me. It's stupid. This is what it is.
Well, this is again what I'm going to sum up today's episode. When I'm thinking about it, when Bauer came out and said about the potential lawsuit, he goes, I really don't want to go down that route. But if he continues to be kept out of baseball and he's not allowed to return and enjoy his career over these allegations, that he literally has no other choice. And it's one of those things from an appearance point of view. If I was his PR director, I would tell him, keep doing what you're doing. Put the stuff on social media, show how you pitch, show how you're engaging with the fans. You got chocolate named after you. You've engrossed yourself into the culture in Mexico. Your teammates love you. Robinson Cano, keep it all positive, everything else. But this has now been 1 year, 2 years. You know, just the numbers alone. I mean, you look at what in Japan. I mean, Japan, 10-4 with a 2.76 ERA. Kareem, who won the World Baseball Classic last year?
Japan.
Mm-hmm. And Yamamoto and Otani, did they do okay for money?
Oh, doing great for money right now.
So the level of competition in Japan, we would say, is pretty decent.
So it's just it's 4A's if it's not a major league caliber.
The level, okay, help us understand. If you look right now on the level of the professional league in Japan versus the professional league in Mexico, for instance, on par, or is the Japanese league higher?
Higher, for sure.
So Mexican League Bauer sitting at 9-0 with a 1.51 ERA, 19 strikeout performance, one game where he struck out a million people in a row. Japan, all he did was go 10-4 with a 2.76 ERA. You know what? Look at Imanaga, how he's been pitching with the Cubs. You know what Senga did last year. Bottom line, we're beating a dead horse here, but he's shown it. And if he is not in MLB in 2025, Kareem, I don't know if he's going to be back. And I got to say, I think next year's got to be the year. They got to do it. They got to say, look, we gave you the 2 years. We punished you enough. Now you're going to come back. There's going to be some team, the real team in MLB that's going to be the hero, that's going to say, you know what? I'm not going to blacklist this person, and I'm going to be right by my fan base, and we're bringing him to spring training, and we want to win. You have to come meet your teammates. Your teammates have to approve, and you're going to be the best teammate, and you're going to be the best pitcher we got. You're in. So there's got to be a team that's got to do it.
Yes, but I don't understand why he has to admit something that he didn't do. All he got to do is show up and just be himself, you know, because he is clear of everything, you know. He might want to talk to his new teammates about what happened before and where he stands now, but that's about it to me. Yeah, I don't have to apologize to anyone about something that I never did.
But let's say, for example, let's take the New York Yankees, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take the New York Yankees. And let's say we got Judge, Stanton, and Rizzo. Judge, Stanton, Rizzo jump on Zoom with Bauer and have a 5-minute conversation with him. Feel him out a little bit. No harm, right?
Yeah.
What are they going to say to him? Are you in? Are you going to be a distraction? Are you going to come and play nicely in our clubhouse? Like, what kind of things would Judge and Stanton say on a Zoom call to Bauer at this point?
There's nothing you can say, right, to him, because once you to walk to that clubhouse, you know exactly what the rules are. All right, you go over there, show up to go to work, do your own thing, and that's about it. Okay, you don't have to distract anyone else. That's what happens when you're in that type of clubhouses. Everybody knows exactly what the role is. All you have to do is worry about you performing to the expectations they're waiting for you to do. That's about it. Other than that, they probably ask him, hey, if you're going to go out, you're going to do something else, do it, you know, discreet, or please, your social media, tune it down a little bit so we can continue with our job. That's it.
You ever see in your time a rookie get pulled aside in a Yankee clubhouse by a veteran and had a nice talking to behind closed doors?
Yes, a couple times when they were thinking they were either they were late or they were doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. Yes, I did see it.
And this is where I'm thinking the best fit in a way is the Yankees. You come clean shaven, veteran locker room, no BS policy, rather than a liberal, young rookies, free flowing. I think actually Bauer would prosper great under the Yankees, as example.
I guarantee you that. And I told you, I would have hoped that the Yankees would have picked him up early in the season when I told you in April, he was a great fit for them. But again, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, he originally signed, I believe, it was a 5 game contract with the Mexican League. It wasn't supposed to last, but he was so good they kept him on. So I think he is staying on, as far as I understood, for the rest of the season. But look, an MLB team called financially, things could be worked out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, my friend. We're definitely pulling for Bauer and his return to the MLB. I think it's gonna be sooner or later. It'd be great if it be 2024, but you know what? Maybe he finishes out this season and goes to the playoffs there and starts fresh with an MLB team. But if I was that MLB team, I wouldn't leave him to spring training. I would sign him early in the offseason, get the media part of it done, let him get focused, come do a full spring training, knowing from day one he's supposed to be there. Full, not bring him right at the end of spring training. We've seen how things happen with Montgomery and all the Boris guys. Let him just have a normal spring training and a normal existence rather than coming in a half season, 3/4 season. I think we're going to see if that happens. Trevor Bauer, All Star 2025. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's if they give him the opportunity, of course he will. If you sign them in December or January, and like you say, get it all done before you start with spring training so you can get a clean slot so as soon as you get there.
Stay tuned, folks. So Bauer does it again, and this is not the last we're going to hear of him because he keeps setting records left, right, and center. I think we're going to see some more good stuff out of that Mexican League from him before his season is done there. We'll see y'all back next week on the Chosen Baseball Journey podcast. And we're going to stay on pitchers. And next week in chapter 118, we got to talk about the sticky stuff. And some players have been caught sticking around, and we'll find out what's going on there with Karim. So stay tuned.